Alright, so I'm going to be starting the second topic now, which is basically the shows that I've watched of the week. So this is Wednesday's video. I'm going to be talking about what shows I've watched, and by shows I mean anime. That's all I watch on YouTube, but I'll be focusing on what anime I watch. Now I watch about 4 to 5 anime a week, so I'm not going to be going like, you know, delving into each episode that I watched of the past week. That'll take way too long, but I'll focus on maybe 1 or 2. But the anime I watch weekly at this point is Dragon Ball Super, Attack on Titan Season 2, My Hero Academia Season 2, Little Witch Academia, I'll talk about that, and there's a new one that I just started called, I think, Sakura Quest or something like that. So I'll start with the 2 that I'm probably not going to talk about a lot right now, since I just kind of watched them for fun. First is Little Witch Academia. The reason I actually started watching it is because of when it comes. It releases every Monday, and at the time I just wanted something lighthearted to watch to start off the week. On Mondays I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm out of it, I have to start the week. So I found this anime. It's just so stupid and silly sometimes. It just kind of makes me laugh in that regard. So like last episode, there was a character who built a boat to catch a ghost, and that boat transformed into kind of like a Gundam, and then they used that Gundam to fight the ghost. It's so weird and just so, like, you know, like magical thing, like lighthearted. It's just, you know, it's just kind of nice to watch something like that, and something less serious or less action packed, things like that. So like that's the only reason I started the show. I just ended up being interested, and I'm just like staying along with it. And something I really like about anime, when the 25 episodes, so much anime these days are like 12 to 13 episodes, where like right when you're kind of getting hooked into the story or whatever it is, it's just done, and it just kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So something about 25 episode anime is something that I really enjoy, so that's really nice. The other anime I'm not going to be talking about too much is Sakura Quest. I started watching this maybe like 3 days ago. I really enjoy slice of life anime, things like Silver Spoon, Bakuman, I think that's the name of the manga writing anime, manga drawing anime, whatever it is. I really like slice of life anime, especially when it kind of focuses on rural areas. So Bakuman was about an illustrator who kind of had to adapt to this rural area, and that's where he continued his work. Silver Spoon, the whole series took place in a rural area about farming and things like that. I really enjoy that because that's something I personally don't get to experience. So seeing that in anime form and learning things about that is kind of interesting. So Sakura Quest is somewhat similar to that. It's a girl who went to a rural area, even though she doesn't like rural areas, and she has to kind of make the city she's in successful and try to get more tourists to end up in that city. So that's kind of the synopsis of it. I've only started watching it. There's only like 6 episodes out. I've only watched like 5 episodes, so like I'm not gonna be delving too deep into it. Maybe if it gets more exciting, I'll talk about it in more depth in next week's video, but right now, yeah, that's all I really need to say about it. Now, these 3 next anime I'm talking about are probably going to be going into more in depth, which is Dragon Ball Super, My Hero Academia, and Attack on Titan Season 2. Now, My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan Season 2, they're getting really good. Attack on Titan especially, really last episode was amazing. If you don't want spoilers, so like basically if you want to watch the video, you're gonna have to be caught up with the anime at the point I'm recording this video. So if you're caught up with like one of them and not the other or something, I'll probably have timestamps in the description to go to whatever I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to be starting off with Attack on Titan Season 2. So basically, I'm going to be talking about spoilers. 2 episodes ago, Reiner and Bertold revealed that they were Titans, and now this is basically where the main confrontation is, where they started fighting, where Eren transformed into Titan and started fighting Reiner. Now, really, any of the things that are going to happen in Season 2 and on, it's not a surprise to me. I'm caught up with the manga. I caught up since like 3 years ago. I've been just reading along. So it's not a surprise to me, but the best thing I really like about what's happening in the anime is that at this point, I've forgotten most of what's happening. So like, even though it's not a full surprise, it is somewhat interesting for me still, because I know a lot of people, especially on the internet, saying, you know, the anime is going so slow, it's kind of boring at this point, because they are caught up and they know everything, and that's just a small minority I'm talking about. I know most people are excited, but yeah, I've seen most people say, or a lot of people say, that they're not excited about it. So I'm kind of happy that I at least kind of read the manga at this point, like 3 years ago, or whenever it came out, and I know I mostly forgot about what's happening. So right now, so this episode mainly was just Eren and Reiner fighting. It was amazing. It was so realistic. I've even seen people on the subreddit say that the moves that Eren was using against Reiner are actual moves in MMA or something like that. So that's pretty cool to see. So that episode was really action-packed. There's not much to say about the story. The main thing about this episode is I think this was the best animated episode of Attack on Titan, period. Eren fighting Reiner looked amazing. The scene with Bertold was amazing, where the soldiers try to attack him. And one thing a lot of people have a problem with is Bertold and CG, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a problem with it too when it first released, the first episode Bertold was in. But as we kind of went on, and in this episode especially, I'm completely okay with CG now. So the way they're using the CG Bertold or Klaus Titan, it's pretty amazing. It makes him look more massive. Like if you rewatch the scenes of when the soldiers are trying to, like, you know, zip onto his arm and spin around his arm, and if you look at Bertold in the background, he's so massive. It just makes his skill a lot better when he's in CG, which I never thought about when they first started using CG. So with the scenes they showed in this episode, it's kind of redeemed it for me. I'm completely okay with them using CG, especially if they're gonna do scenes like that. So yeah, that's kind of one thing I wanted to bring up. But yeah, really, that's really all I want to talk about Attack on Titan. I don't want to delve too deep because it was mostly just an action-oriented episode. There's obviously some story bits, but that's really mostly what I want to talk about with this episode. Next, Dragon Ball Super. Again, this was basically full action. It was Gohan versus Goku, and really for any Gohan fanboy, this was one of their favorite episodes probably. This was, I think, my favorite episode of Dragon Ball Super, and I say that so often. Like whenever a new episode comes out, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite episode, because usually it is. Whenever there's like kind of some story and a lot of fighting, it's really, you know, exciting. It's just an exciting episode. And since I am also a Gohan fan, he's probably not my favorite character, but I am a fan of him. And seeing how much he's grown now from the starting Dragon Ball Super is just amazing. So like now that he's back into his fighting spirit, now that he's taking fighting seriously, and the way he was fighting Goku, the friggin' animation, the art, everything was amazing. There's maybe only like maybe 1 or 2 bits when it comes to art that kind of looked off, but other than that, it was amazing. Seeing Piccolo and Gohan come to the restaurant with Piccolo, like, you know, behind Goku's like, oh shit, my son's gonna fight Goku. It was friggin' amazing. That entire scene, the whole build up, and I loved how salty Tien was the entire episode. Gohan just kicked the shit out of Tien the entire episode, and the entire time Tien's like, yo, why are you taking it so seriously, man? Calm the hell down. So yeah, everything about the episode I loved. The characters, you know, the dialogue, everything. Again, that's really all I want to say about the episode. It was really action, you know, action oriented, but when it comes to the episode, the thing that I love the most is really the character, you know, that dialogue between Gohan and Goku, what Goku says to Gohan, you know, what Tien's talking about, things like that. So that's what I really enjoyed about the episode, and that's kind of my overall opinion on it. And lastly, I'm going to be ending off this video with My Hero Academia. I'm going to keep it short. This was an episode where they kind of revealed more about Shinzo. I think that's his name, the purple haired guy. His quirk is brainwashing. So, you know, when I first saw Shinzo, I thought he was kind of like an evil kind of character just because how he looked. But something that this episode really let me know, which I kind of forgot, is everyone who's participating in this tournament is a hero. That kind of sounds obvious. Obviously, you know, it's kind of meant for heroes. They're from the school of heroes. But then I forgot that they're all doing this, you know, for the greater good. They want to be good people at the end of the day. So when it came to show the flashback of Shinzo, where the other students are saying, oh, please don't make me your slave, you know, like, we don't want to, you know, we don't have any problems, and Shinzo's like, oh, don't worry, I won't do that. It really goes to show you how nice of a person Shinzo is, how much of a hero he wants to be, because he can easily be a villain if he wanted to, and he doesn't. So when it kind of showed that scene and how Shinzo's saying, you know, he's kind of unlucky for having this kind of quirk, where other people are blessed with kind of more hero-oriented quirks, it kind of made me like the character a bit more. So Shinzo's actually kind of top up there with kind of one of my favorite characters now. I kind of really like him. His quirk is pretty cool. So hopefully we get to see more of him. I have a feeling we're not going to see more of him. It just kind of seems like that was his mini character arc. They're going to push him aside and focus more on, you know, Midoriya and Todoroki and things like that. But I really enjoyed, you know, Shinzo's part of the episode. And what else happened in the episode? Oh yeah, like, so that was basically the bulk of episode. Midoriya kind of breaking out of the brainwashing by breaking his fingers. That was intense as hell. I thought he was gonna like flick himself or some shit, but no, he just like straight up like did this and broke his fingers. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. We learned a bit more about his quirk One for All, where he saw kind of all the past users kind of like in a silhouette form, including All Might. So that was pretty cool. And the episode ended off with Todoroki fighting the guy with tape from his elbows. I don't know his name. Now that fight was just hilarious. The guy with the tape was acting all badass, trying to, like, you know, take Todoroki. Todoroki just freezes the shit out of him and like half the stadium. I wonder, like, did he like freeze the people on the side too, like the people watching? So like, yeah, that fight was obviously meant to be kind of more of a for fun fight, more of a funny fight, but at the same time show what Todoroki is capable of. And really, when Midoriya and Todoroki fight, that's when the real shit's gonna go down. They even have kind of like an excerpt of it in the intro, which shows Midoriya breaking his ice. But yeah, that's pretty cool, and that's kind of that's where I want to end it off. I don't want to talk more about this. That's all the shows that I've watched of the week, and hopefully I continue this next week and explain more about each show. If you want this to be more of an organized format, like if you want me to focus on one show in particular or something, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, so let me know how you kind of want this to go. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.